Hello and welcome back to The Source. I am Jack.
And I'm Nat, and thank you for joining us on this Monday. Still plenty to come on today's show.
I throw myself off a crane.
All in the name of The Source.
All for The Source, risking my life.
But first of all, I go to see George Ferguson at home because it's his mayoral address this evening, so we thought it would be nice to catch up with him and find out a little more about the man behind the red trousers. George, thank you for joining me on The Source today.
Thank you, Natalie.
And so
lovely
now,
to be here.
Thank you. And as you know, we're going to be asking you a few of your first experiences throughout life. And I'm going to start by asking you about your first memories of school. Do you remember your first day at school?
I do, because my dad was in the army. He was in the Northumberland Fusiliers, so we lived near Newcastle in a little village, and I could walk across a field to the nursery school that I went to with my mum, down a fire escape at the back of the house we lived in. And it was, so I've got a very, very vivid picture of that. Goodness knows, how old was I? Probably 4 or 5, 4 I think.
It must have been quite a proud day, the day you were
No,
finally...
I must have been 4, I was 4.
The day you were finally allowed across the field to go to nursery.
Yeah, I was a couple of days after, but I got my head stuck in the railings on the way. So I think they mistrusted me for a bit after that.
How did you do that?
Well, because it's always tempting to put your head through railings, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you get rescued?
I did get rescued, yes.
So you started your first day at school with a bit of a sore head.
I got out.
Yeah. Good, thank you. So looking now throughout your childhood and perhaps older, do you remember your first love?
Well, my first love was at that school. It was
Did she rescue you from the railings?
No, she didn't, but she was Rosalind Baker. And she and I were very competitive. And I remember we were always trying to get more stars than the other for various subjects. And so in the end, we gave up on the competition and we just had a little 4-year-old love affair.
Oh, thank you. So let's have a look at moving on to your career. What was your first job?
I mean, my first job was, I think nearly all architects' first jobs are relatively prosaic ones. I think my very first job was a bathroom extension, and my very first job was one in Turkey. And I went out as an architectural student in my first year and worked in what was known as a work bank there, called Suma Bank in Ankara. And even though I was a student, I was given the job of designing workers' flats in the north of Turkey in an earthquake zone.
How old were you at this point?
I was 18.
Right. In
an earthquake zone in north of Turkey. And it was a great opportunity because I had to think very hard about, how this block of flats would collapse in order to minimize any deaths or when I say collapse, I mean how flexible it was in an earthquake. So it was a really challenging engineering exercise too.
So where was the first place that you lived when you left home?
Well, it was Bristol because I came to university here and I made it my place. And as a young student, I never imagined I'd end up running the place. But I immediately got really fond of Bristol. So I may have been a student, but I became a real resident of Bristol within a year of being here. And I was attracted to the place because the university is so embedded into the city.
But you've settled here, obviously in Bristol. It's held your attention and your passion for a long time now.
Well, it has. I'm a complete urbanist. I love cities. I love the opportunities they bring. And I think having travelled a lot and you move no sooner than the curtains are up. And so it was a real privilege and pleasure to be able to make Bristol my home. And I just think it's a great city. It's got great people and the real benefits of the city are down to all those individuals who have done things. It's not, I always say, even now, I say it's not to do with the governance of the city, it's to do with the individuals, the organisations that make Bristol such a varied and interesting city.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Bristol?
Well, my arrival in Bristol, I think I bought a car for 10 quid which seemed expensive to me at the time. It was pre-MOT, it was a bit dodgy, it was an old 1934 Morris 8 open. I felt, the bee's knees with this open car. Came down on the Wells Road, down past the Three Lamps Junction and into Bristol, and came by some circuitous route quite close to here. Down the cut there was a tiny little suspension bridge which I thought was the suspension bridge, and which I now cycle across every day.
Yeah.
Then found Park Street and the university at the top of Park Street, which I thought was the cathedral. So I had a bit of way to go to learn about Bristol. But that memory was a really important one because I really felt I'd arrived.
Mm. Yeah. And your car is obviously no more now?
The car, sadly, is no more. I sold it for a tenner.
Yeah.
Now that was bonkers, wasn't it? I could probably.
You didn't lose any money on it.
I didn't lose any money on it.
No. Well, thank you, George. It's clearly, I can still feel your passion for the city, and obviously you've got your mayoral address this evening, so we'll be covering that as well. But thank you for joining us on The Source. You're welcome back any time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
A delight.
Nice, I actually learnt a good few things there that I didn't know about our mayor.
Brilliant, and he'll be giving his address this evening, so I look forward to hearing what he has to say to the city.
But now it's time for me to put my life on the line as I shiver where I stand and launch myself off a crane into the unknown. It's time for a bungee jump. It's Clifton Suspension Bridge's 150th birthday, and little did a few of you maybe know that the first ever bungee jump was there, so I've always wondered what it is like to bungee jump, and I think Nat's had enough of me, so I'm down at Millennium Square to try bungee jumping myself with the UK Bungee, who travel the country, so it's time to throw myself off a crane. Not looking forward to this at all.
Left hand.
Oh my God.
Okay. Feet right over the edge. I want you to look across, not down, take a deep breath. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, bungee.
That is insane experience. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm just hanging out, hanging out in Bristol. Wow, that's a mad experience. I'd definitely do it again. I didn't cry and I survived. So I advise, if anyone has a chance to actually bungee jump, you should definitely do it, because it is amazing. I'm with Amos, the site manager. So first of all, thank you for letting me jump off. I survived. Thank you for keeping me alive as well.
No worries, Jack. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did, it was really fun. So how high was that jump that I just did?
That's 160 feet. That's a standard jump we do. 42 metres for those with metric as opposed to imperial. That's a standard jump we do here, lots of those. We do higher, so...
What's the highest jump that you do?
Highest jump we do in the UK is the Chepstow 400 foot. 400 foot,
wow.
So it's a long way up in the air.
That's a very long way
up in the air. It's 300 feet above the ground level, but then we just start to slew you over an empty quarry, and it's another 100 feet down, so you disappear below the terrain.
Wow, I don't know if I'd be able to do that one.
Well, next year, I think it's in April or May next year, so check it out if you want to come along and do that one.
Definitely, that'll be fun. So, before I did it, there was a 14-year-old who jumped off. Very brave
Yeah,
kid.
very brave little lad.
So what are the ages that you're allowed to do?
14's the youngest you're allowed to do,
14's the youngest you're allowed to
and
do.
oldest, well, as old as you want to be, as long as you've got a doctor's certificate saying that you're allowed to do it. So,
Wow.
yeah,
So
rad.
what's the highest jump you've ever done?
Highest jump I've ever done was the GoldenEye 750-foot down wall jump in southern Switzerland off the Zaska Valley down wall.
That's a very long way. So
A little bit bigger than this one. Yeah.
So how long are you falling? That's free falling for.
Well, over there, it's roughly 7.5 seconds. Yeah,
7.5 seconds.
Yeah, the rope you jumped off today was 8 meters long. The ones out there are 40.
Wow.
So
So
very,
how
very-
long was I free falling for up on that?
Yeah, it's about a second and a half
second and a half.
before it kicks in. Yeah.
That's madness. So where can people find more out
Well,
about this?
Well, UKBungeeClub.com is always going to be a good place to start. Everyone's got the
Amazing.
internet, but we're all over the place. We're here again in March next year. Come 3 to 4 times a year. Yep, full
Amazing.
weekends worth of events.
Amazing. Well, thank you for today. I had a great time.
Jack, I hope you did.
It was amazing, and everyone make sure you come down next year and check it out. Whoa.
I'm
That was
impressed.
intense.
I did look intense.
I only cried for 30 seconds as well.
Rather you than me.
But now it is time to end on that high.
Yeah. Or on that scream.
Yes. But we've got loads coming up on tomorrow's show.
Yes, we're getting all cultural tomorrow. We'll be down at the Arnold Feeney looking at the Vision Project.
Also at the M Shed, and we have Colin's Unnatural History.
Hooray! So don't forget you can tweet us at Made in Bristol TV, hashtag the source.
Or on Facebook, facebook.com/Made in Bristol Television.
Have a great evening, whatever you're doing, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.
We'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Kieran, bringing you all the best things to do in Bristol this week. From today until the 24th of November, a new interactive exhibition of all things playful arrives at the Christmas Steps Arts Quarter. The work of more than 30 artists and illustrators brings puzzles, games and more fun to the exhibition toys. All of the work will go on sale to the public for the duration of the exhibition, with all money made going to local children's hospital charity, the Wallace and Gromit Grand Appeal. That's at 10 AM every day until the 24th and absolutely free entry. Later this week, the brilliant political comedian Mark Thomas takes over at the Tobacco Factory Theatre on Wednesday and Thursday. Tickets to see Mark in his new stand-up show, Cocood, cost £16, and for more information on this, visit tobaccofactorytheatres.com. If you fancy some live music this Thursday, head down to the Thekla. From 7 PM, the indie band Circa Waves are performing. This gig is £8 a ticket. For more information on how to book, go to theclabristol.co.uk. Or on the same night at the O2 Academy, the Cortinas are in Bristol for their autumn tour to promote their 4th album, Concrete Love. Tickets are selling fast and are almost sold out, so hurry up and book if you want to go to that. If you're looking for some theatre this week, then as always, there's plenty to choose from. Tomorrow until the 22nd of this month, War Game is on at the Bristol Old Vic. It tells the story of the opening months of World War I through the eyes of a village football team who are whisked away to play in that famous Christmas Day football match across no man's land. Winter is fast approaching, and at Bristol are prepared for it. Whether you're a pro or just a beginner, you can get your skates on and try out the ice rink they've opened in Millennium Square. It's from 10 AM every day. It's just £5.50 and a great bit of fun for everyone. That's it for today's What's On Guide, but I'll be back tomorrow with plenty more things to do in Bristol. I'll see you then.